Welcome to the Highest Health Podcast. Raise your health, elevate yourself, and enrich your life. Experience a world of health sovereignty. As you near your highest health, you near your most luminous self. Welcome to the Highest Health Podcast. I am your host, Natasha Campbell. This episode is special because our guest and I share the same name. No, just kidding. That's not why. But I do get a kick out of that since the name Natasha isn't all too common here in the US. This episode is actually special because it speaks to the power of treating illness via the connection from our digestive tract to our brain and our relationship with all the microbes, predominantly in our digestive tract, but also throughout the rest of our body. This community of bacterial microbes we host in our body is one of the most important aspects of our health, if not the most important. It can be what keeps us performing at our highest health or what makes us fall into chronic life force depleting pain or disease. Dr. Natasha Campbell-McBride graduated with honors as a medical doctor from a university in Russia and gained postgraduate degrees in both neurology and human nutrition. The protocol that Dr. Natasha Campbell-McBride discusses is the GAPS protocol. You'll hear more from her on this later. In short, there are different variations of this protocol. The power of this protocol is not to be underappreciated, as people have recovered fully from both conditions and diseases like the ubiquitous depression and anxiety that we all too commonly hear about, to recovering from chronic diseases that we have been told are either genetic diseases, there's no cure for them, and or that this is a lifelong sentence, such as multiple sclerosis, epilepsy, hashimoto's, schizophrenia, autism, rheumatoid arthritis, bipolar disorder, psoriasis, systemic psoriasis, colitis, and ones I never even heard of before. These people are put on the GAPS nutritional protocol, and these diseases disappear. Crazy, right? I actually practice a version of the GAPS protocol myself, a pretty liberal version of it, yet the results are powerful. Last mention before we get into the episode is I linked the resources Dr. Natasha has in the text below. Highly encourage you to check them out. We'll kick it off and get started. I had the great honor of seeing you present in person at the Wise Traditions Conference. Your presentations were incredible. But for our listeners who might be new to you, let's give them a brief introduction of who you are and what the GAPS protocol is. So you are the inventor of the GAPS protocol, and it's been around for over 20 years now, right?
That's right.
Okay, excellent. And then you also have several amazing books that have been a global phenomenon and have helped so many people. So yeah, please introduce yourself and tell us more about the GAPS protocol.
Okay, my name is Dr. Natasha Campbell-McBride. I'm the creator of GAPS nutritional protocol. I'm a medical doctor, I'm a neurologist, and a human nutritionist. And all of these disciplines are important to put together because I work with diet. I work with natural needs. I'm a holistic doctor. What GAPS is all about, it's a concept which explains that human body is a microbial community. There are far more microbes in your body than human cells. So you are a microbial community. There are microbes in your blood, in your heart, in your lungs, in your brain, in your digestive system, on your mucous membranes, in your joints, in your muscles, in your bones. Everywhere there are microbes. The biggest part of this microbial community lives in your digestive system. The reason for that is that digestive system is where we put our food. If you ask any microbiologist what is the most powerful influence on a microbial community in nature, the answer immediately will be food. You change the food supply to a microbial community anywhere, and everything changes within an hour. Certain species disappear, other species become more active, they proliferate, and the whole microbial community changed. So that means that because human body is a microbial community, food is the most powerful influence on the health of that body. There is nothing that comes even close to the power of food on your health. On health and disease, on your vitality, on your energy levels, on everything that is going on in your body. And because your body is a microbial community and because food is the most important influence on these microbes, the majority of these microbes live in your digestive system because that is where we place food, don't we? So this microbial community in your digestive system is called gut flora. It has been researched now for over 100 years, starting from the moment when Ilya Mechnikov, a Russian biologist, had discovered gut flora for the first time. And since then, there were a lot of research done. Western science got interested in this subject only in the last few years, but other countries were working on this subject for a long time. And this mass of microbes that live inside your digestive system, they are connected to all the other microbes all over your body. And they have a phenomenal influence on everything that is going on in your body. They communicate information almost instantly to everything. They're in charge of our food digestion and absorption. They take a huge part in that. You can be eating the highest quality food in the world, but if your gut flora is not normal, is not well balanced, then that food will not digest well, it will not absorb well, and it will not do you much good. Problem is, we live in a world where there is an attack on our microbial community from every side. Agricultural chemicals, majority of them, particularly the most commonly used agricultural chemical called glyphosate, that is Roundup herbicide that people spray on their driveways and around their gardens. It is one of the most toxic chemicals in the world, and it first was classified as a broad spectrum antibiotic when it was discovered for the first time. Most other agricultural chemicals are antibiotics in their nature. When you consume foods contaminated with these chemicals, and in the supermarkets, everything on the supermarket shelf contains glyphosate, even things that are labeled organic. This is a scientific fact now, it's been tested. Even labeled organic things contain glyphosate.
Wow.
This is antibiotic. So if you're buying your food in a supermarket, you are eating antibiotics for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and in between. Antibiotics will kill off part of that microbial community in your digestive system and elsewhere in your body. And what happens as a result? No antibiotic in the world can kill every microbe. They only kill certain microbes that are sensitive to that particular antibiotic. Any microbial community can only exist in nature if it is in balance. If there is balance between all the species of microbes there, they're all present. The basis of every microbial community are usually fungi, and then there are bacteria there, viruses, protozoa, archaea, all sorts of little creatures, and bigger creatures such as worms and parasites. And they're all important, they're all essential. And in a good, healthy microbial community, they are in balance with each other. They don't allow anyone get out of control and cause trouble. They all control each other. They're all in the right proportions. You've eaten a breakfast full of glyphosate or another antibiotic, you've killed off part of that balanced community, and balance is gone. The harmony is gone. The species which are not sensitive to that antibiotic get out of control, immediately start overgrowing and become a problem. Because every microbe in this world can cause disease. The only way to live with microbes is balance, is harmony. Apart from food and agricultural chemicals, people take antibiotics from the doctors, and many other chemicals in our environment are also affecting the microbial community in the gut and everywhere else in your body. So majority of people in the Western world in particular, in the industrialized world, have abnormal gut flora, damaged gut flora. What happens when that flora becomes abnormal? Various species of microbes overgrow, they become pathogenic, they become problematic, they damage the integrity of the gut wall. The gut wall becomes porous and leaky. Literally, holes develop in the gut wall, and the food absorbs undigested as a result. Then the immune system finds these undigested foods in your blood, in your lymph, looks at it and says, "You're not food, I don't recognize you as food," and attacks them. This attack manifests itself as food allergy and intolerance. Majority of people in the Western world now have some kind of food allergy or intolerance. You just ask anybody and people will tell you, "Oh, I can't eat that and I can't eat this, and that gives me these symptoms and that gives me that symptom." Because when this food particle is surrounded by immune cells and other complexes which attach themselves to this food particle, this very large molecule then circulates around your body, and wherever it gets stuck, in your muscles, in your lungs, in your heart, in your brain, wherever that happens, it will cause problems. It will cause symptoms in that organ, in that place. So that's one thing that happens. Second thing that happens, these microbes convert food into millions of poisons, downright poisonous chemicals. Wow. These chemicals also absorb through the damaged, leaky, porous gut wall. You have a river of toxicity flowing from your gut into your blood, into your lymph, being distributed all over your body. Wherever they get you, they would cause trouble, these toxins, in many different ways. There are many mechanisms that we've already studied and understand how they work, what they do, and they can cause any disease at all. Initially, in 2004, when I've written my first book called Gut and Physiology Syndrome, I'll show you the book. It came out in 2004 for the first time, the first edition of it. This is a following edition. I focused on the brain because at that time I was working with learning disabilities in children. Okay. Autism, ADHD, dyslexia, dyspraxia, epilepsy in children, other behavioral and learning problems in children. And that's why I focused on that particular problem. But as I was working with these children, I discovered that they're physically not very well. They all have allergies. They all have food intolerances. They have eczema. They have asthma. They have cystitis. They have bedwetting. They have all sorts of other problems. Then I've discovered that their parents are not very healthy either. Their parents have physical problems, mental problems, which stem from the same place, from their gut flora. All diseases begin in the gut. This statement was made thousands of years ago by the father of modern medicine, Hippocrates. And now we understand just how correct he was. Indeed, every disease begins in the gut because your body is a microbial community. And the headquarters, the big ministry of this microbial community is in your gut. So the roots of your health are sitting right there in the gut, and the roots of every disease are sitting there in your gut. Wow. As I was working with parents and then with siblings of these children, and then I started working with other patients with other conditions, I've discovered that all of them, all GAPS patients, Gut and Physiology Syndrome abbreviates to GAPS, GAPS. So all GAPS patients have physical symptoms and mental symptoms. That river of toxicity and undigested foods don't just go to the brain. They go everywhere in the body, and wherever they get you, they cause disease. So the second GAPS book that I've written, it took me a long time to write it, came out in 2020, 2 years ago.
Such a good book.
That's right, the blue book. That's right. Yeah. I've coded all my books with colors. So there's a yellow book and there's a blue book. The blue book is the latest book that I've written, and that covers all autoimmune conditions, all allergies, all arthritis, cystitis, nephropathies. Wow. Skin problems such as psoriasis and eczema, and allergies, asthma, and atrial fibrillation, which is also born in the gut, which is a very common condition now in people with heart problems. And all our neurological issues, such as multiple sclerosis and various neuropathies and various other neurological illnesses, hormonal issues, Hashimoto, low thyroid function, adrenal problems, sex hormone problems. All of these things are covered in that blue book.
Wow.
So that's gut and physiology syndrome. And in the English language, it abbreviates to the same gaps. So these people are gaps people. And it's my patients who created that term, gaps, that people abbreviate because it was a long thing to pronounce, I guess, gut and psychology syndrome. So it became gaps. And then it's my patients that and people all over the world that call themselves gapsters. So these are people with abnormal gut flora who have all of these problems which stem from the gut. Yeah. So you may have lapses in memory or unstable mood or depression, or you may have rheumatoid arthritis or Hashimoto or psoriasis or chronic cystitis or, I don't know, athlete's foot. And you would think, what has this disease got to do with my gut? It's got everything to do with your gut. The roots of this disease are in the gut. And these two books explain that very well. Apart from explanations, I have designed a GAPS nutritional protocol. Because food is the most powerful influence on human health, the center of that protocol is the diet, and it's called the GAPS diet. This diet is based on traditional diets from all over the world, the way people used to eat and used to cook from all over the world. So the diet is the most important part of it. And what this diet does, because food is the most powerful influence on any microbial community, it rebalances your gut flora. It restores it back to balanced, harmonious, normal state.
Wow.
We grow new species, we bring down other species simply by eating the right food.
That's amazing.
Simply by eating correctly. Once the gut flora gets all balanced and harmonious again, it rebalances and harmonizes all the other microbial communities everywhere else in your body, in your blood, in your heart, in your lungs, in your brain, in your joints, everywhere else.
Wow.
But once your microbial community in the body is rebalanced, symptom after symptom disappear, all kinds of illnesses far removed from the digestive system disappear, people recover.
Wow.
I'm a mainstream doctor. I was trained as a mainstream doctor. And I would have never believed, what I've seen over this last 20, 30 years that I've been practicing with this protocol. I would have never believed that multiple sclerosis is curable. I'm a neurologist by training. When I was trained, multiple sclerosis was incurable.
Yeah, it still sounds creepy to me.
Exactly. You could just control the symptoms and make the person a little bit more comfortable, but they are going to die from this disease. Not at all. Now I have a growing community in the world who have recovered from this disease. Wow. I would have never thought that rheumatoid arthritis is curable. Schizophrenia, autism, epilepsy, Hashimoto, psoriasis, systemic psoriasis with psoriatic arthritis, not only skin manifestations, but, very, very serious forms. Wow. Every disease. And now I'm having a growing group of children who are brought to me who were given genetic diagnostic labels. Wow. They were told your disease is genetic, and the list of these genetic diseases is growing like mushrooms under the rain, literally. Many of them are unpronounceable. Wow. Because now we have genetic testing. So they test the person, they find some problem with some gene somewhere or other, and they say, oh, that's it. This disease is genetic. There's nothing you can do with it. Wow. We put them on the GAPS nutritional protocol, the disease disappears.
Yeah.
I say I would have never believed it myself if it wasn't for my patients, because my patients are my teachers. I learn from my patients. Every patient is a big book, and it brings a whole big story. And the way they progress through their disease and the way they recover deserves a novel that thick to be written about it. They're amazing, absolutely amazing. Every story is absolutely amazing. Talking about my books, a very important part of the GAPS nutritional protocol are animal fats, natural animal fats. We eat lots of animal fat. We eat pork fat, lamb fat, beef fat, goose fat, duck fat, butter, cream, fermented cream, all of these things. And of course, as I was talking to my clients and my patients about this, everybody would ask me the same question. What about heart disease? Right. What about my cholesterol? Mm-hmm. What about, triglycerides in my blood and all of that? So I had to explain, having explained to 100 people that cholesterol and natural fats, animal fats, do not cause heart disease. I thought I better write a book about this. So the result of this was the red book. It's this one. It's called Put Your Heart in Your Mouth, What Really Causes Heart Disease. And the same cause, in this book, I explain what actually causes heart disease, Alzheimer's disease, obesity, cancer, diabetes, all of this group of diseases which belong to so-called metabolic syndrome. So I explain in this book what actually causes all of this. It's fully referenced if you want to give it to your doctor or to another scientifically minded person, but it is all of my books are written in a way that people can understand. They're easy to understand. As I was working with patients with mental illness, I had many of those, I started getting more and more youngsters with anorexia, with bipolar disorder and other mental illnesses and physical illnesses too, who became ill because of vegetarianism. Before they became vegetarian or vegan, they were perfectly healthy.
Wow.
Many of them never had antibiotics. They were not even gapsters.
Huh.
Many of them came from families where parents didn't vaccinate them, where parents used homeopathy with them. They didn't use antibiotics. So
no antibiotics, no vaccines. They became a vegetarian and they still came to you.
That's right. And they become ill, seriously ill, physically and mentally. So that spurred a great interest in this problem. So I researched the whole thing. I've spent a few years researching it and studying it. And the first thing I've discovered that there are no scientific studies we can trust on this subject. Not one.
Wow.
All of them were done by pro-vegetarian lobby. All of them are incorrectly designed. The data has been incorrectly analyzed. They have been manipulated, all of them.
Wow.
The biggest lie on this subject is the China study. And the mainstream is, showing the China study everywhere as the proof that all of us should be vegan, vegetarian.
Yeah.
So as a result of all that study, so I understood that science is unreliable. I cannot rely on the scientific community. So I looked at clinical experience, my own and other colleagues. I looked at basic sciences of zoology, biology, physiology, and other. And the result of all those studies became a book called Vegetarianism Explained. It's this little book here. It's not very big. It's got nice pictures.
Excellent.
Yes, and I specifically wrote it in such a way that it will be interesting and engaging for young people in the world, because so many youngsters fall into this trap. We now have a situation in the world where the mainstream, with all the Western governments who are funded by corporations, global corporations, are pushing for vegetarianism and veganism. There is a big agenda. Propaganda is very strong, and it's becoming stronger all the time. And it's a propaganda designed by very clever professional psychologists who press on emotions. Emotions and ignorance. The whole thing is based on emotions and ignorance. Please read that book. It'll explain to you the difference between a cow and a human being. There is a difference.
Absolutely.
Big one. Very, very big one. And please read that book to understand what the animal foods do for us and what plants do for us. So as I was writing that book, I was working with many gapsters in my work, and I've been training practitioners all over the world, health practitioners from all over the world. So I'm in communication with those as well, with them. And we share information, we share our experiences, what we see in our clinics. And what we started seeing in our clinics, more and more people who simply cannot digest any plant matter. Plants, difficult to digest for human beings. Very difficult. You need to have a cast iron digestive system to digest a lot of plant matter. And the more your digestive system is damaged, the less you can manage to digest plant matter. Now we have more and more babies, small children, and people at all ages whose digestive systems are extremely damaged to such a point that they cannot handle any plant matter at all.
Wow.
Children with ulcerative colitis and adults, people with Crohn's disease, people with schizophrenia and other severe mental illnesses, children with FPIs, that's a new diagnostic label that has come in Very, very difficult situation. This is a newborn babies exclusively breastfed.
What is it called?
FPIS, which is food protein induced enterocolitis syndrome.
Okay.
So quite a mouthful. Basically, what you have a little baby, a few weeks old. The mother is only giving the baby breast milk, nothing else. Vomiting, diarrhea. The child is losing weight. Not growing, not gaining weight, losing weight, not developing, literally dying in front of your eyes. Doctors do testing and find that the child is allergic to all protein on the planet.
Wow.
And then the nightmare begins, the breastfeeding stops, the child is put on some synthetic formula made out of soya, tubes go into the nose, tubes go directly into the stomach, and as a result of all this, children develop severe mental and physical disability, and many of these babies die.
Wow.
They simply don't survive. What we do with the GAPS nutritional protocol, I had a mother who contacted me about her daughter more than 10 years ago now. And now we have a large group of children around the world who have recovered fully from this condition on the GAPS nutritional protocol. The reason, the problem in these children is that their digestive systems are so damaged, they cannot handle any plant matter at all. They have to be on a no plant GAPS diet. That's a variation of the GAPS diet that I have had to develop for these children and for children with ulcerative colitis and with Crohn's disease and adults as well, where we have to remove all plant matter because their digestive systems are just far too damaged that they cannot digest plants. And I have now a growing community of these patients who have been living without any plants at all for many years.
Wow.
Healthy, beautiful people, children recover, bright eyes, bushy tails, developing normally, growing normally, perfectly. But as soon as we try to introduce a little bit of a vegetable, we get symptoms.
Wow.
We get problems. There are many adults like that around the world. You probably heard about carnivorous diet, the carnivore diet.
Yes, absolutely.
This is the community of people who cannot digest plants at all because their digestive systems are very, very damaged.
Wow.
So what these patients have taught me, that human beings can live without eating plants perfectly well.
Amazing.
This is not from some book. This is from clinical experience. This is life. That is happening right around us.
Wow.
But also my patients, all these vegans and vegetarians who came to me who were very, very ill, they have taught me another very important fact, that human beings cannot live without animal foods. We cannot live on plants alone. Because plants, first of all, are indigestible for the human digestive system. To digest plants, Mother Nature created cows and goats and giraffe and deer and antelope and all the other herbivorous animals who have a very, very different digestive system to us. Our human digestive system is not designed well to handle plants. They're very difficult for us to digest plants. And they do not feed us. They cleanse us. They cleanse the human body. They do not feed us. The only foods that feed the human body, because of the way our digestive system is designed, the only foods that feed the human body and build the physical structure we live in are animal foods. Meat, fish, eggs, and dairy. So veganism, where a person doesn't eat any animal products, is not a diet. It is a form of fasting.
Wow.
Fasting can be very therapeutic. Many people around the world, fasting is biblical. It's thousands of years old, but no one can fast forever. Fasting cleanses you. It provides intensive cleansing, and that's what vegan diet provides. Not diet, but veganism provides intensive cleansing. But at a certain point, the body would finish cleansing, and it will give you a signal, I finished cleansing. It's time to feed me. I'm hungry. The way the body will give you that signal, it will give you a desire for a roast chicken, for bacon, for eggs, for fat, for cream, for creamy cheese, something like that, piece of meat. But unfortunately, many vegans in our modern world are doing it for political reasons, emotional reasons, religious reasons, other reasons. They do not listen to their body. They override this signal and they force their body to continue cleansing when the body is asking to be fed. And that's the point when the body has no choice but to start dismantling less important organs to feed the brain, the heart, the lungs, the liver, and other vital organs. So the person starts losing the muscle mass and the bone mass.
Wow.
And gradually the person falls into illness. And very many of these people don't realize that they keep convincing themselves, because human mind is very stubborn and very strong, that everything is fine with me, there's nothing wrong with me. But other people around them see it. They see what's going on with the person, but they do not listen to them, unfortunately. So we have, and these are the people that finish up being seriously, deeply ill. We have now a growing community in the world of recovering vegans and recovering vegetarians. That's how they call themselves. People who got so ill, hit the rock bottom, realized what they've done to themselves, and started eating animal foods again. But it takes them many, many years to recover.
Wow.
It is not an easy process. It's not so easy to restore your body back to normal after you've damaged it on such deep level. One more book I have, that's called Gap Stories. I haven't written this book.
Oh.
These are basically testimonies. I have been receiving letters and emails from people from all over the world for years, and many of them were so moving, so powerful. I just asked these people for their permission, and we published them as a book.
That's incredible.
And it's incredible. And many of these people, vast majority of them, have never had any consultations with anyone, have never contacted me. They just bought the book somewhere, they followed it, and they recovered.
Wow.
And the list of illnesses in this book are just astounding. It's amazing, you know.
Yeah.
There are several cases of neuropathies. There's narcolepsy, there's epilepsy, there's alcoholism, there's drug addictions that people recovered from.
Wow.
There's all the physical autoimmune illnesses, Lyme disease, chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, all sorts of illnesses that people have recovered. And some of these people even provided their contact details. They're happy to be contacted by others who are in the same boat and would like some advice and would like some help. Beautiful. They're happy to help, because the journey that they went through with the GAPS nutritional protocol moved them so much, changed them so much, was such a profound life experience for them. They want to share their experience. They want to teach others. Yeah. So that's a long answer to the question.
No, that was fantastic. You basically did another presentation for us. A couple of the points that continue to stand out to me is how one of your driving points is how powerful food is. And I feel like in the Western world, it's the last thing that we talk about. And when someone's not feeling well, it's always something else, like something that they have to go and buy besides food to make themselves feel better, whether it's like a new like red light therapy, even though that could be like helpful in some ways, or it's like, it's hardly ever the food that people talk about. And I feel like that's such an empowering point. And then you mentioned earlier how within 1 hour of eating a different type of food, you can change your whole microbial community. Like that's pretty quick to see these changes in the gut. I imagine that, it takes a lot longer for people to heal, but for the community to start changing that quickly is so incredible.
The microbial community will start changing literally within an hour, but of course you won't recover within an hour.
Right.
Not at all. Yeah. It takes much, much longer. On average, I tell people to follow the GAPS nutritional protocol for 2 years at least.
Okay.
So study the protocol properly, follow it properly, and we have a lot of help. Because many people who are seriously ill, it's difficult for them to focus, difficult for them to understand, to read, difficult for them, difficult to absorb all that information because they simply don't feel well. And they have no energy, many of them. Many of them have chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, neurological problems, mental illness, all sorts of problems. So we have help. We have on my website, which is called gaps.me, there are lists of certified GAPS practitioners and certified GAPS coaches. And in the chat, I will put the website.
Okay.
Yes, so we don't have to remember these things. It's not me. There we go. So you will find certified GAPS practitioners. Practitioners are health practitioners. These are trained people. These are professionals. And we add them this qualification. We teach them how to implement the GAPS nutritional protocol for various specific, because the GAPS protocol has to be adapted to every individual.
Okay.
Every human being is unique. One size fits all doesn't work. You have to work with individual situation, adapt it, adjust it, and work with the person step by step, because things change. From the moment you start the diet, things start changing. New symptoms develop because the body is unfolding layers of disease, which were masked before. So suddenly something else pops out. So the practitioner will help you to go through all of that. GAPS coaches are people who have not been, they're not doctors, they're not nurses, they're not naturopaths or anything like that, but these are people who have gone through the GAPS nutritional protocol in their own family.
Okay.
And have recovered themselves or healed their children, healed their loved ones. They've got enormous amount of experience, enormous amount of enthusiasm. We train these people and we call them coaches. So they are more hands-on people. They're the people that can come to your house and cook for you and help you with shopping and answer all your questions.
Wow.
And just gently ease you into the whole protocol, bit by bit, holding you by the hand.
Wow.
So it's a very, very valuable profession. Very valuable. On my training platform, where we train people on gapstraining.com, we have a course for beginners where you're trying to read the book, you're trying to do protocol, but you have questions and you're not sure what you're doing. So it's a good idea to join that course, because you will then learn step by step, slowly, at your own pace. You can learn about the GAPS nutritional protocol, and you will have very professional, very qualified people guiding you and answering all your questions. You will have instructors who will instruct you and help you so you can move through the GAPS nutritional protocol step by step. And so that we have that training course. Then we have a training course for fussy eaters, for people who have children or even older people that they care for, who are very fussy with food. And it's very difficult to feed them at all, because they wouldn't eat this and they wouldn't eat that. And it's a symptom of GAPS. Fussy eating is a symptom of GAPS.
Huh.
These people are drug addicts.
Wow.
2-year-olds, 1-year-olds, 3-year-olds, at any age, adults.
Yeah.
What happens? The pathogenic microbes that overgrow in their digestive system digest food that comes along in their own way, converting it into many, many poisons. But they're clever, these microbes. Part of that toxicity they produce in the form of endorphins and morphines. But when these chemicals reach the brain, they give the brain pleasure. So the brain gets addicted to these chemicals. It's your microbes sitting in your digestive system turn you into a drug addict. They produce the drug. So the brain then dictates, eat chocolate muffins, eat breakfast cereals, eat sugar, 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 drink soft drinks, eat bread, eat pasta, eat nothing else. So these people get trapped in this vicious cycle of craving and dependency on the very foods that harm them.
Yeah.
On the very foods that destroy them, and the foods that those pathogenic, specifically pathogenic microbes love to eat.
Wow.
So you become a drug addict. So tiny children become drug addicts like that, and they exclude all proper meals. All they want is sweet things, starchy, stodgy, carbohydrates, processed carbohydrates, sugar, sugar, sugar. That's what they want, these children, because they're drug addicts. And to get a child like that to eat is not an easy task, because you're dealing with a drug addict. If any of you has ever had to help a drug addict, you will understand that these people can smile in your face and nod and agree to everything you say. As soon as you turn your back on them, they will sabotage everything you do.
Wow.
Because they're drug addicts.
Yeah.
And the small children, because they can't sabotage, they're not able to go and buy their own food. They will make your life extremely difficult. So we have a whole program, a whole protocol on how to work with these people, how to break them out of that vicious cycle of drug dependency and addiction and fussy eating. It's a very effective protocol. It is based on behavior modification, and you will find that course on the gapstraining.com. I do recommend for everyone to go on that website and have a look. We have many courses. We have a course there for what to do with electromagnetic pollution. We have many people in the world who are sensitive to mobile phones, to Wi-Fi, to smart technologies,
Right.
to all of this, because we live in an electromagnetic soup and it's getting thicker and thicker all the time. Human body is an electromagnetic machine. It reacts to these things. If you're healthy and well, you may not realize it, you will need to feel it. But people who are already ill, many of them are very sensitive. They know that they're reacting. They feel it.
Wow.
They get simply debilitated. So it is important there are many technologies now which can make your home much safer, or the space where you live much safer for you. So that course will explain the whole thing for you and help you. Where to find specialists, where to find this technology, what to do about this, what to do about that, because it's very technical and it's important to understand. We have another course for a GAPS baby. There are many people who had an autistic child or a child with ADHD or epilepsy or diabetes type 1 or another GAPS condition. And of course, quite rightly, they don't want to produce another child with an illness like that. So they're very keen to do everything right for the next baby, to have a healthy baby, a baby that will bring them only joy. So go to that course. It will teach you how to produce a healthy baby in a GAPS family.
Incredible.
What to do in preconception, what to do during pregnancy, how to breastfeed, how to wean, what to do, what not to do for your baby. That's a perfect course. It's a wonderful course designed by mothers who have gone through it themselves.
Wow.
And they're GAPS practitioners. So these are experienced people in their personal lives and in their professional life. So please go to gapstraining.com. You will find all that information there.
Amazing. Yeah. So
all
you
those
have
courses.
Yeah, that's a fantastic wealth of resources. And I love how you have like different tiers of support for people who are at different phases of, I guess, dysfunction in their gut. And you have that support available for them. So it makes the process a lot easier. I feel like in my experience, I spoke to a lot of people who have been on your diet, and at first they say it's so hard, but towards the end, they're like, oh, it's like, I can't imagine eating any other way.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't even want to go back to eating the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When you change your diet, when you recover from a serious illness, you change. The person that's inside you, the human being that is inside you changes. You become different, a different person altogether. Mm-hmm. You will never go back to what you were doing before, or what you were eating before, or even some activities you were doing before, because you are far more enlightened. You understand much more. You feel much more what's right, what's wrong in this world. You've changed.
Absolutely. Yes,
you have changed on a profound level. Another development that I'd like to share with everybody, and that is GAPS Science Foundation.
Okay.
We are putting the GAPS protocol on a firm scientific basis for the professionals, for the mainstream.
Oh, wow.
We have thousands of testimonies from all over the world where people recovered from all kinds of illnesses. But of course, professionals immediately ask, where are the papers?
Yeah.
Where are the peer-reviewed journals? All of that. So that's what we've set up GAPS Science Foundation for. We've published 3 papers already on showing that GAPS works. I have a team of professionals working with me, and so we are doing more studies. We're going to publish more. We will publish and publish, but we need support. So for those who would like to support us and help us, please go on that website and help us, because science is expensive.
Absolutely. No, that's fantastic. And I think is going to be such a needed space for the Western world, and I feel like the rest of the world too.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I got to tell you, every time I hear about your work, read about your work, it sounds like magic to me. It makes me believe in magic. And it sounds...
Absolutely, yes. The world is magic.
Right.
That's what my work has made me believe in it myself. Yeah. I was a pragmatic mainstream doctor, and it's my patients, it's my clients that surprise me every time. And it's just quite amazing. Just a couple of days ago, I was speaking with a gentleman in his middle 60s, or close to 70 now, who had glaucoma in one eye. And he had two titanium implants in the upper jaw, right underneath that eye. So what we've done, I told him, remove those titanium implants. They're poisoning your eye.
Wow.
When he mentioned this to the ophthalmologists or to the dentist, they both said this is complete nonsense.
Wow.
But still he demanded, and they've removed them. When they've tested those implants, they found that they are toxic, and they are leaching toxic things. He is on the GAPS diet. So he went on a GAPS diet and he removed these two implants. His glaucoma disappeared.
Wow. That's
There you go.
phenomenal.
The pressure in the eye is normal now, and the eye is improving, and other problems are disappearing in that eye. So every patient is magic. This world is magic. It's absolutely amazing. As long as we don't put sort of this curtains around our eyes and only see the science.
Right.
If you think about it, Mother Nature worked on life on Earth for God knows how long, billions of years. Every little detail in your body is worked out in a perfect way. Human body is absolute perfection. Everything's ticking on, everything's in balance, everything's beautifully designed, so cleverly, so practically designed. What did our science do? Our science tinkered in its laboratories for a few decades only. What do they know?
Yeah.
But people are so focused on science. They think, well, if the scientists say, then that must be the truth. And through my professional experience, through my professional life, and I've been working for a few decades now with real people, their real symptoms, their real problems, their real health problems. And we have miracle after miracle after miracle coming in. Now I understand that science is complete nonsense. Particularly medical science. Nature has all the answers. Nature. And what I also understood, that this physical world is only one dimension. The real you is divine. There is a divinity in every human being, in every living creature in this world. There is a divine beginning in all of us, a divine spark. Some people call it a soul. Some people call it a spirit, some people call it God. You can call it whatever you want. But there is no doubt whatsoever in my mind that the basis of everything in this world is in the other world.
Wow.
In the spiritual world. It's divine. It's in another dimension, which our human sensory organs, the eyes, the ears, the tactile sensitivity, all those 6 senses that we have, cannot perceive. We've been designed that way, so we cannot perceive that world. But nevertheless, that world exists. I have no doubt whatsoever. That is what my clinical experience has taught me. I have no doubt whatsoever about that. Our science is purely materialistic. It's taboo to even talk about anything divine, or you immediately blame to be a vitalist. Immediately they label you as a vitalist and say you're a crackpot, and we exclude you from our ranks, basically. So it's a materialistic science. So they're trying to study something divine, standing on one leg with their both arms tied up behind their back, basically.
Right.
Until our science accepts the fact that there is a divinity behind everything material in this world. And unless we start studying that divinity, we will never get to the truth. That is why we have two things, two kinds of science in our world. We have technologies, which deal with dead things, bits of metal, chips, mobile phones, computers, machines, tractors, cars, whatever, These are dead things. They do not have a soul. They're made out of material things that we have harvested from this planet, and we've changed them, and we've made metal, and we've made bits of plastic and whatever else. So technologies are amazing, and people who work in technologies have given us great tools and made us very comfortable. It's absolutely fantastic and amazing. But when it comes to living things, and that is everything in nature, the plants, the microbes, insects, animals, birds, humans, anything living in this world. If you look at all the sciences that are trying to study living things in this world, they are all lame, and they're all misguided.
Yeah.
And they will never get to the truth. because they refuse to accept that behind everything living, there is a life force. There is something intangible, something that our human senses cannot perceive. And that's how it's designed, basically. There is a deep wisdom to that. So until we start researching that, we will never get anywhere. And if you look at all the great researchers and great scientists in history of humanity, they all believed in God. They were not atheists at all. Mm-hmm. They were not materialists. And now there are many scientists who stand up and speak out about it. And there is research going on in a partisan fashion all over the world, where we're trying to research and study this other side of us. But until the mainstream joins in and accepts this fact, we cannot trust our scientists who study living objects, particularly medicine, biology, zoology, embryology,
right?
Anything that studies living things, we cannot trust them at all.
Wow.
And that is what my clinical experience has taught me.
That's beautiful. A lot of what you said gave me the chills. And I couldn't agree more. So do you have some practical takeaways for people who want to avoid the supermarkets and, avoid glyphosate? I feel like it's everywhere. And do you have any recommendations?
Absolutely. I've just added my blog to the chat.
Okay.
So please have a look there. I put news there. I put announcements and various other things, various blogs in there. So that's all the websites I have. I don't have anything else.
No, that's
so let's talk about supermarkets. We must abandon supermarkets because supermarkets are stocked by industrial agriculture. Industrial agriculture is an abomination which must be got rid of if we want to survive.
Wow.
It is very, very serious. We cannot continue shopping in supermarkets and preserve our planet from destruction and preserve humanity from destruction. Because industrial agriculture is deeply destructive. It is the number one destructive activity of humanity, particularly arable agriculture, growing plants. Vegans and vegetarians, beware, please. You are destroying this planet. The more vegans and vegetarians we have on this planet, the more it spells doom to the whole planet. The planet cannot sustain, and that because all of these vegans and vegetarians are eating things produced by industrial agriculture. There's no other way to produce the amount of plant matter that they want.
Right.
People. I'm an organic farmer. We are completely self-sufficient on my farm. We do not buy anything. We produce all of our food ourselves. And I will tell you that the easiest things to produce on a proper organic farm are meat, milk, and eggs. Animals, you're busy in the morning 1 hour, you're busy 1 hour in the evening when you feed them, milk them, get them on pasture or put them to bed in the evening. That's it. The rest of the day is free for you. You can even hold a full-time job. But growing plants on an organic farm is a full-time job for an army of people.
Wow.
It is extremely labor-intensive. It is difficult. It's unpredictable. And you never know what you will get. You can do everything by the book. It doesn't rain in time. The sun doesn't shine in time. Some farmer sprayed something on his field and all the insects run away and found my organic garden. Something else has happened. And you just don't get your carrots, or you don't get your beetroot, or you don't get your cabbages. Every year is different, and you can do your best, but you don't know what you will get. So the hardest thing to produce in an organic manner are vegetables and fruit, plant matter.
Wow.
On the industrial scale, in the industrial agriculture, these things swap. Producing plant matter is easy for them because the scientists have worked it out to a T. Give them hybridized seeds, already sprayed with certain chemicals. They give them machinery, they give them all the chemicals, they've counted it all, they've programmed it all. So, one person with a computerized tractor can serve thousands of acres easily.
Wow.
And they get their yield, good-looking yield. But what's inside that yield, nobody's interested. The fact that the nutritional composition of those plants is very, very low, and they're full of chemicals.
Wow.
Nobody's measuring that. Nobody's interested in that. As long as it looks good, there are no weeds, there are no pests, no insects. The soil is dead. They kill the soil with all these chemicals because soil is a microbial community, just like your gut. It's a rich microbial community. So the major destructive force, destructive activity of humanity is growing plants on a mass scale.
Wow.
Who can feed hordes of vegetarians and vegans around the world? Only industrial agriculture.
Wow.
Organic farming will never be able to do that. It's hard work and it's unpredictable. The yield is never guaranteed on an organic farm, only with industrial agriculture. When it comes to producing meat, eggs, and milk, and fish, that's when industrial farmers don't want to do it because it's difficult. Animals just don't comply with industrial model. They get sick and they die.
Wow.
The animals. Because every animal, every bird in this world must be on pasture. Real organic pasture with about 60 odd grasses and herbs growing in a mixture, real mixture, not some hybridized monoculture that the farmer has seeded and sprayed with chemicals. That's not going to sustain the health of animals or birds, not at all. And because they want to plow everything and grow plant matter everywhere, they've taken all the animals and birds off pasture, they locked them up in prisons where they never see the light of day, they never see the sun. They grow those monocrops, they harvest with chemicals, they harvest them, and they feed these poor animals this stuff. And the animals just get sick and they die. So it's expensive to produce meat, eggs, milk, and fish, because they have to feed them antibiotics all the time, they have to feed them steroids all the time, they have to have the vets all the time, and vets are expensive. So what the big owners of global monopolies have done, they have been working for decades on producing synthetic meat, synthetic eggs, and synthetic milk.
Wow. Yeah.
Synthetic meat is already in the supermarkets. Synthetic milk is coming, and the eggs are just being perfected at the moment. That means, because they've invested billions into these technologies, that means that real animal farming is a threat for them. It's a competition for them. So their next goal is to destroy animal farming.
Wow.
Animal husbandry. And it's already going on all over the world. In preparation for that, for decades, they have been producing so-called science, telling you that meat is bad for you, and eggs are bad for you, and milk is bad for you, and cream is bad for you, and butter is bad for you. Everything animal is bad for you, and everything animal destroys the planet, and cows are farting and then belching and causing global warming. That is such a ridiculous lie and manipulation. It's unbelievable. What is up there in the atmosphere comes from arable industrial agriculture. The carbon comes from plowing and applying chemicals, because the biggest reservoir of carbon on our planet is humus in the soil. Topsoil holds all the carbon, most carbon on the planet. When they plow and they apply chemicals, they destroy humus, and all that carbon is released into the atmosphere. And then they spray nitrogen fertilizers, because the soils on these industrial factory fields is dead. It's just dead dust. There's no microbial community in there. So the plants, nothing will, if they don't spray chemicals on their land, nothing would grow on it at all. That is why industrial farmers are addicted to nitrogen fertilizers. Without nitrogen, nothing would grow at all. A large percent of that nitrogen, as soon as it hits the ground, is converted into methane, and it goes into the atmosphere. That's where methane and other nitrogen gases come from, not from belching cows, not at all. Our planet had 1 million times more herbivorous animals on it.
Right.
For millions and billions of years, and was much, much healthier. It's industrial arable agriculture that is causing this pollution, and it's nitrogen fertilizers, not belching cows.
Wow.
That is the fact. It's a scientific fact. And yet all these gullible populations and these gullible vegetarians say, oh, it's the cows that cause the global warming. We better stop eating milk and stop eating meat and whatever. In order to save our planet, we need much, much, much more cows and sheep and pigs and chickens. We need more animals. because their excrements fall on the ground. They inoculate the soil with microbial community. The soil becomes alive. And when the soil is alive, the carbon and nitrogen from the atmosphere gets captured in the plants. The plants send these things into the roots. And the microbes in the soil then assimilate them and create humus, lock these nutrients up in the soil. And that alive soil full of nutrition then will grow anything for you without any chemicals.
Incredible.
That's what we're doing on our organic farms. There is regenerative agriculture now. Many farmers understand this. They start doing things differently. Regenerative farmers, organic farms. Right. In every country, there are hundreds of excellent farms with honest, decent, loving farmers who love their soil, love their animals, love their birds. You know, they love their land. They do everything properly. They're organic, they're regenerative. Find these farms and buy your food directly from these people. Because the governments are the biggest headache for these farmers. It's the governments with their regulations, because the governments are set up in the first place by industrial agriculture to serve industrial agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
And they try to destroy any competition for industrial agriculture. So they come heavy on all of these farmers. It's very difficult for them to deal with the governments. And the only farmers who survive are the ones who sell directly to customers without middlemen.
Wow.
Because, you know, the way the agriculture is set up, the farmer gets absolutely virtually nothing for his hard work. It's the middlemen and the supermarkets that get majority of the profit.
I see.
If you buy directly from the farmer, you can sustain a good person and you can provide your family with proper food to make yourself healthy. So your whole family is healthy. What is happiness? Happiness is health. Happiness is living in a healthy body where you have plenty of energy. Your mood is good because your brain is not starving.
Yeah.
You know, your memory is good. You're in a good mood all the time. You feel happy. You feel exuberant. That's what happiness is, because you live in a healthy body. And in order to do that, you have to have good food. So what I recommend to people who live in the cities, go to your farmer's market, talk to the farmers, ask for their contact details and ask them, can I visit your farm? And on a weekend, get your kids in the car, get your dog in the car and go and have a lovely day looking at animals on a farm. A good farmer like that will have nothing to hide. You will not see bags full of chemicals. You will not see refrigerators full of antibiotics and steroids. And you will see all the animals and birds in the fresh air, on pasture, in the sunlight. And you can look in the eye of this farmer. And from human to human, you will feel, is this a person I can trust? Is this a decent, honest, proper person that I can trust? Once you found several farms like that, on one farm, perhaps you can get milk. On another farm, you can get vegetables. On another farm, you can get your meat or eggs or something else. And start buying directly from these farmers. Yes, it's not as easy as pushing a trolley in a supermarket, but it's much more fun, and you're creating a community of decent, good people around you. You're making good friends. So what I do with my patients in the cities, I put them in touch with each other so they can create a rota. So every weekend, somebody drives to these farms and gets food for the whole group. And then other people can come to their apartment or their house in the city and get their bits and pieces. Next week, somebody else can do that. So you don't have to drive for food every weekend. And when the group becomes big enough, many farmers are perfectly happy to deliver the whole group into one apartment or one house in the city.
Yep.
So that may all it takes is just getting organized. And all you need is a couple of large chest freezers, which are not that expensive when you buy them secondhand. You put them in their garage or their driveway, wherever you can fit these things. And when you can't buy good meat and you know where this animal came from, where this animal grazed, that this is a good quality meat, buy a couple of lambs, buy half a pig, buy a quarter of a cow, buy about 10 or 15 or 20 chickens and 10 ducks. Put them all in the freezer. Then every day you wake up in the morning and instead of thinking, I need to go to the supermarket, what am I going to cook for dinner? You just go to your freezer.
Yep.
You take a piece out and defrost it, leave it to defrost. In the evening, you cook it and you've got your dinner. You've got your food. All it takes is getting organized. And the quality of your life will just soar. It will be incomparable to the drudgery that you had before. We must abandon supermarkets. You're buying disease. You are not buying anything healthy in a supermarket. It simply cannot exist in a supermarket.
Yeah, it makes me think that I'm just spending money to basically like poison myself.
Yep, absolutely.
I'm like paying to poison myself, but
That's exactly what's happening.
yeah.
And because majority of people buy their food in the supermarket and they don't even think, where else can I get my food? There are always choices. In every second of your existence in this world, you have choices.
Absolutely.
There is never a situation when you have no choice. You always have a choice. You just have to stop and think and look around, and you will find the right choice in every situation, because this world is magical. It's divine.
Yeah. And I love the idea that like starting with food, and first of all, to go back to the purchasing from a farm, a lot of cities have fantastic farmers markets now. And I was just at one this past weekend, and I was talking to the farmer, and when they are organic farmers and, you know, they treat their soil well and they're doing regenerative farming, the first thing that they want you to do is visit. Like they want to show you their property and they want to show you their animals. And like, I hadn't met this woman before, but like within the first two sentences that she says, she's like, come to the farm. We're only like an hour and a half away.
Absolutely. Go and visit. It's great fun.
Yeah.
You spend a beautiful, fun day on the farm because animals are just so honest. They're so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
They can't deceive you, you know, and they're so loving. They're just pure love.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Meeting them is a privilege. It's a pleasure.
It absolutely is. And then, and then to go back to, you know, the choices that you make with your food have a compound effect to the choices that you make in other areas of life, like who you spend your time with. And for me recently, it's been like, I've kind of been on this, like, I guess cleansing of like synthetic fibers, and just wanting to buy like better quality non-synthetic fibers. So like there's definitely like a compounding effect. And I was talking to one of my friends, and she's like, yeah, me too. Like you can't help but want to make better choices in other parts of your life.
Absolutely. That's what GAPS nutritional protocol is. It has 3 parts to it. The most important one is the GAPS diet. But then we have a few supplements, only a few, which are really foods. And then a big one is change in lifestyle, detoxification, sunbathing, walking barefoot, you know, earthing, all of these sort of things. You have to change. You have to change your life, your lifestyle. Everything has to change. You have to clean your house, remove all man-made chemicals out of it, reduce the electromagnetic pollution in the house. So a lot of things have to be done. It's a whole program.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. You covered so much today. And I think I'm so excited to bring this to my audience. I think it's just so valuable, and I just always feel so inspired talking to you and hearing you at the Wise Traditions conference. I have to tell you, all I wanted to do was go to a kitchen and make soup. Like I was just craving it.
Wonderful. It's lovely to hear that.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for your work. Thank you for spreading the word and teaching people.
Oh, my pleasure. Is there anything else that you want to share?
I just would like to mention to people that there are no hopeless situations in life. Honestly, there are none. Many people drive themselves into this dead end and think that's it. It's hopeless. There's nothing I can. There is always a hope. There is always a choice. And just stop, step back, look wider, look around, read, speak to other people. You will find a solution, no matter what it is in your life, no matter how difficult and terrible it looks to you at the time. And coming to health, human body is a perfect creation. It's perfection. It is our birthright to be completely healthy, full of vitality, full of energy, and to be happy, to be joyful, to be exuberant. That's our birthright. That's how we are designed. Every disease is caused by humanity. Nature did not program any diseases for us. Everything's created is man-made, all of these things. And you can reverse it and you can remove it. Because you're a man, you're a person, you're a human being, you're a powerful creature.
That's so powerful. today we hear, these diseases come about and people just kind of blame it on either like aging or just, they call it normal, like that's a part of life, but you're saying it's not at all.
Nothing normal about disease. No.
Yeah. Health and joy are our birthright. I love that. Thank you so much, Dr. Natasha. Really appreciate you.
Thank you very much. Lovely to talk to you.
Likewise. Have a great evening.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to Highest Health. If you gained value from today's episode, leave a review, share with a friend, or post on social media. If you're interested in achieving your highest health or already pursuing it, send me a DM. I'd love to hear from you.